All right, folks, this is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Let's get the show started. And welcome, folks. This is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. We come to you each and every day, Monday through Friday, talk to you about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. I'm your humble host, Sherman Ray, and I want to welcome everybody to the show today. Excuse me. Fantastic weather here in the city of Las Vegas. And you know what? I found out I just didn't start all my other stuff here too. I want to welcome everybody, especially if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or you just joined us on our new podcast. You're on Spotify, so we're really excited about that collaboration with Spotify to bring the show to you. So that's pretty cool stuff. And so if you're watching us on Facebook, each and every day. So we actually you can actually get in on the conversation anytime you want. Yeah, anytime you want. Really I'll answer you, especially if you're on our group page or on our business page. We can definitely get you up there. I just didn't open it this morning, of course. So I want to thank you guys for being a part of the show today. It's a special day. We're going to talk about, there's a holiday today that I think is just, it's brilliant. I love it. I love holidays because there's a holiday for every week of the every day of the week. There really is something new, and this day is no different. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that. Some things happened internally here just recently here in the city, and really everybody should probably know about that too. It's pretty interesting stuff that's happened. And lastly, I'm going to talk a little about UNLV because I love UNLV. So I want to welcome everybody who's joining us on Facebook, and let's talk a little bit about our magazine. Okay, so we got something real cool to talk about that too. So our magazine, for those of you who maybe this might be the first time you're checking us out, Livin in Vegas magazine is out. Our new edition of Livin in Vegas magazine, our Livin in Vegas magazine, is coming out in just about another 10 days or so. So April 1st will come out with the spring summer edition, and we're probably going to change this cover you see right here in front of you right now. For those of you who are watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, is our premiere issue. So that was the cover for our premiere issue, and we're going to change up that cover here and probably just do it tomorrow. Well, we'll just do it tomorrow. So you can actually check that out. You can still get this. It's still got some great articles in there. I just love some of the stuff in there. I go back and read the magazine all the time to see what we've got in it. And great articles in there, especially Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, he had a great article. He's a local doctor here, Russ Langer. Russ Langer is actually the voice for the Las Vegas Aviators. Just celebrated his birthday, and he's probably all of 22, 23. No, he's not that young, but he's young at heart, though. And I think his son's pretty young, though. He's got a little bitty toddler who's already playing baseball. And so Russ Langer, who just won an award, I think he won an award for excellence, and I think it's like the 11th year in a row. So we want to wish him a happy birthday again, because I think his birthday was like yesterday. So, and also we've got, so if you want to get this magazine, you can go to our website at livininvegas.com. That's livininvegas.com, and you can actually check that out. Here, I'll put that up there for you so you can get it. So livininvegas.com. You can go to our website, download the PDF copy of the magazine there. Or let's say, you want to get on our mailing list. I'd really love to have you on our mailing list. So you can go to just send me an email at info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com, and we will send you the PDF download of our magazine, and a lot of stuff that we don't talk about here on the podcast is in that email. So you can actually have that anytime you like, and we really encourage you to take advantage of that. Take advantage of the fact that we're sending out some cool stuff each and every day, and you can check that out. What else are we doing? Oh, we got a mixer coming up, folks. Mixer is coming up. It's called The Happy Hour, April 7th, over at the Horse Trailer Hideout, 1506 South Main Street here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Starts about 5:30 to 7 o'clock. And once again, it's a business networking mixer, so it's really fun, fast-paced. A lot of business owners take advantage of coming there and checking out all the other business owners that are here in Las Vegas. So we encourage you to come on out there to that networking event, and we encourage you to register for this. So what we'll do is we'll actually leave the link to register for that event right below us on our Facebook page, and you can actually check that out. Or if you're on our mailing list, you get that link all the time. Okay, it's in our and you can always get on our mailing list. There's no problem putting you on our mailing list, and you can check that out. So we encourage you to be a part of that anytime you want. Lastly, no, let's do this. Here, check this out, folks. Hi, Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Well, there you go. And so what we found out is that there's a lot of business owners who are just getting back in the game. Budget's tight, so we don't want that to be a hindrance to you being on our podcast here on Livin in Vegas. And it goes out all over the place. So this podcast really gets all over the place. And we just started having the podcast on Spotify. And we could have done this months ago. We really could have put it out there months ago. But really, you know what? We wanted to spend a little bit of time kind of just talking, enjoying ourselves a little bit before we actually put the podcast out there. So it's on Spotify right now. It'll probably be on Apple Podcasts and all those other platforms here in the next couple of weeks. So it's a great way to get your business out there. We're on probably, 5 or 6 different platforms, reach out to tens of thousands of people. It's affordable, and if you'd like to do that, all you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. It's advertising@livininvegas.com, and you can check that out. And lastly, before we get going, the show did seems like so much. We've come out with another magazine, folks. Yes, I know. We just started Livin in Vegas magazine. We're actually starting a new weekly magazine called Livin, and it's Livin. It's the Livin in Vegas weekly magazine, and this comes out weekly. So what's the difference? It comes out weekly, so every week there's people. You're fast paced. You're so busy. I know everybody's busy. There's a lot of people who watch the podcast during the morning. They go, "Sherman, I gotta go to work. I got to get going." And while you're at work, stuff is happening. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. And so the team got together and said, hey, we need to put out something that's a weekly magazine that actually talks about the things that are going on a weekly basis. Livin in Vegas magazine is quarterly. So it's a much more comprehensive magazine. Livin, the weekly magazine, a lot shorter, and a lot more hard-hitting stuff that gets going, but it'll get you caught up on the latest stuff. As a matter of fact, I was talking with one of my best friends, Dave Hensey, and I said, Dave, did you hear about this or did you hear about that? He said he had no idea that so many things were happening in Las Vegas. didn't know about the football team, didn't know about baseball, didn't know about, the things over at the Smith Center, didn't know about all these things. And these things happen during the week. Okay. Let us put these things in your hands. Okay. So you have no excuse for not knowing what's going on in Las Vegas, plus all the great events that are happening on the weekends. Okay. So you can subscribe to Livin, the weekly magazine. You can, and here, let me put up. I'll put the email address so you can actually, yeah. Let's do this right there. Okay. Info, livininvegas.com. So info at livininvegas.com, and you can subscribe to Livin, the Livin in Vegas magazine, the weekly magazine. Okay. So either way, say, hey, Sherman, I'd like to subscribe to this, and you can actually check that out. So you got two magazines you can actually check out at once. So Livin, we're very excited about this too. It's a weekly magazine once again, and you can check that out. Okay. All right. So enough of that. We've talked about so much stuff. It's so much stuff here. And so today, folks, is a real special day. That's right. It's Talk Like William Shatner Day. Yes, folks. It's Talk Like William Shatner Day in the city of Las Vegas. And why do we pick that? Well, because guess what? William Shatner's a stud, for one. And number two, because we are so, for those of you, this might be the first time you just moved to Las Vegas. You don't know really what all the stuff that's going on here in Vegas. We are one of the top places in the nation for space exploration, that kind of stuff. We have, what's the name of the place? Bigelow. So Bigelow Space. Actually, I'm going to move this down a little bit because some of you folks probably wonder why I've got so much headroom there. Bigelow Space is one of the largest contractors for space. They're literally down the street from us here over at the studio. And we've got Area 51, we've got Nellis Air Force Base, we've got Creech, we've got all these things that have to do with space exploration, military, that kind of stuff. So it makes sense that we talk about William Shatner Day. Talk like William Shatner Day. Don't I sound just like him, right? So from time to time during the show today, we'll talk a little bit like William Shatner, and hopefully, you'll get it. I thought that was kind of fun. So there's over Desert Oasis. More on a serious note, Desert Oasis, the high school here in the valley, has had some problems as of late, and we would be remiss if we did not mention this. So, the last 2 weeks or so, kids have been acting stupid, just acting a fool, bringing guns to school, fighting, all that kind of stuff at schools. And so parents at Desert Oasis are taking matters into their own hands, and they've said, hey, look, we're going to start having meetings to talk about how they can actually hold the school authorities responsible. I'm talking about William Shatner again, of course, right? Hold the school officials responsible to keep their kids safe. I mean, that's kind of basic bottom line for the kids. And so they had a meeting. I think they're going to have. I think they're meeting over at Windmill. Yeah, parents hosted a meeting at Windmill Library Monday evening to discuss how parents can work together to hold high school leaders accountable and ensure student safety. And that's really important, that our kids don't feel like they're just, out there on their own. It's very bad. One student said that every time they hear the school bells ring or something like that they feel unsafe, and that's really not a conducive. It's not an atmosphere conducive to learning, and so we really want to keep those guys in mind when we're talking about school safety. in the news, folks, was Governor Steve Sisolak. Steve Sisolak, the governor of the great state of Nevada, held a press conference on Monday to address a nagging question. So, if this was crazy. So, what was it? 2 weeks ago, something like that. Last month, governor and his wife, his lovely wife, she's very lovely, actually, she's a very nice lady, went to a restaurant, and there was a gentleman there who struck up a conversation with them, and then all of a sudden he went off on the governor, started saying racial slurs about his wife, the governor's wife, who is Asian, and it was just not being a very nice guy. He was. What's this guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. Justin Anders. Okay. And he berated the governor, even stating that he should be hanged. Okay. And this is, I don't know. So the question was, is the governor going to hold this guy accountable for being, a public, nuisance? And the governor said, no, I'm not going to do anything about it. He asked the district attorney, Steve Wolfson, not to pursue persecution that could arise from the abusive and menacing treatment my family and I experienced at a local restaurant several weeks ago, quote, by the governor. And he says, as a husband, he's outraged and he can't forgive the guy, but as a governor, he's not going to do it. So we know that here, and this happened back, a few years ago, where you actually had political leaders that were calling for citizens to be active, violent, crazy, that kind of stuff. And it's still kind of spilling over. And now, so we just want everybody to be safe. You really should be able to speak your own mind without feeling threatened by somebody every 2 minutes. It's just kind of crazy that you feel like you can't do this. I myself have been the... I shouldn't say this because this isn't the forum for it. But I just found out just recently that I myself was being threatened by somebody. I have no idea. I had no idea unless somebody had told me about it. I wouldn't even know because I just got other things to do. So we want to talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape Las Vegas, and that's really where we're at. So I'm more focused on that than anything else, and so we just want to hope that Governor Sisolak is safe because there's really no place for that kind of abuse. Even if you don't agree with the guy, it just doesn't work for that way. So the food and beverage industry is having their first annual or the inaugural Las Vegas Food and Beverage Week. Yeah, so this is actually pretty cool. I just heard about this weekend. It's a expo that'll feature 4 premier food and beverage trade shows all at one time. So all at one time, they're going to take 4 different industries, put them all together. And they're all part of the food industry and food and beverage industry, but 4 leaders in the industry, and they're going to put them all together for the first of its kind. It's called the so it's running, March 21st, which was yesterday. This is the 24th. It's called SIAL America, the Bar and Restaurant Expo, the International Pizza Expo, and the World Tea Conference, all coming together under one roof. Okay, so this is big. I mean, this is really big, and if you are and this is going to be over at I wonder if it's how much it costs for this thing, because there's a lot of business owners. Now, we have a lot of business owners here in the Las Vegas area who are into restaurants, and there's nothing that nobody's above learning new stuff. I mean, everybody can always learn new stuff, and technology has changed. Dealing with labor shortages, that kind of stuff, it all really changes. And so this would be a great opportunity for business owners to get to be a part of something like this. So we really encourage you. That's once again, that's over at the convention center. It's running, started yesterday all the way through Thursday, and very cool stuff that's going on with that. Did I tell you folks that it's International Talk Like William Shatner Day? That's right. And you can speak like William Shatner anytime you like. Yes, and we love William Shatner. There's a couple of guys that personally I grew up with that I think exemplify manliness, and there's nothing wrong with being manly. William Shatner was one. Sidney Poitier was another. Tom Jones, stud. Okay, for me, that was me. Robert Goulet. Yes, I know. Some of you are saying, "Who? Who are these old guys?" Well, because nowadays guys are not. They're different. There's no manly men right now. There's a lot of guys hanging out there. I know, but there's no manly guys out there. Really? Come on, not like really like William Shatner. Are you kidding me? The guy when he walked, he had the walk. He was the original swagger guy. He was. So I know a lot of you probably disagree with me, but he was. He was the original swagger guy, and that's my story, and I'm going to stick with it. So there was a story. Oh, let's talk about this real quick. Vegas Golden Knights. So the Vegas Golden Knights, folks. Oh God, I know. We are on a 2-8 streak in our last 10 games, and we lost yesterday to the Minnesota Wild, 3-0, and Fleury watched from the bench. Yeah, so we've traded the. So here's the story on the Vegas Golden Knights. Our backup goalie rejected 33. So great 33. So with Logan Thompson, great job that you did in rejecting 33, but you let 3 go through. So it is what it is. He's a rookie. But we've been on a losing streak. We won a couple in a row, and now we lost another one. But I believe in the last 10 games, we've won 2 out of the last 10. But we've had a lot of injuries. I mean, a lot of injuries have happened with the team, and so I think our next one. Who are we playing next, folks? Golden Knights are going to be playing Winnipeg tonight. So they're in Winnipeg, so they'll be playing. And so, folks, we gotta come on, go. Gotta get that mojo going for the Vegas Golden Knights. And also this weekend we've got the girls over at UNLV. So the UNLV girls are going to be doing a midweek game tonight, folks. This is going to be cool. We're going to be hosting Dixie State Trailblazers at Eller Media Stadium tonight at 6:00. It's a midweek game. Starts about 6:00, and tickets for that are like $10. So you can actually get single game tickets for $6 when you purchase them in advance of the game. But if you buy them on the day of the game, it's $10. Okay, so sorry we kind of were late on that. The girls for our softball team doing really good. We're doing really good. We are on a 3-game win streak, and we just came out of the weekend beating UNR, which is great because we love Vegas. It's really all about Vegas. I mean, I know a lot of people love UNR, a lot of people love Arizona, and all these other places. We're into Vegas. UNLV it's either UNLV, the Raiders, or nothing. That's all there is to it. Or it's either UNLV and the Aviators or nothing. Or UNLV, the Aces, and the FC Lights, the Nighthawks, Silver Knights, or nothing. Okay? That's all there is to it. And so we don't care about these other teams. Those other teams, even if you went to another college, you're in Vegas now. So that's the way we roll. So if you're listening to this broadcast, folks, it's Vegas. That's all there is to it because we're the center of the world right now, and we love what's going on here. Oh gosh. Um, they so back in 2019. Um, Back in 2019, there was legislation that was passed down, and it was what was it called? AB 456, passed in 2019, and it increased the minimum wage um, in increments of 75 cents annually through 2014. Well, July 1st, it's going to be another increase in the minimum wage in the state of Nevada. And so this is kind of a shout out to you if you are an employer that on July 1st, 75 cents more is going to be um, it's going to be the standard for us as a state. And so right now we are actually number four. I don't know if you knew this, but there was a story. We're not going to read the story, but we're number four as far as rentals go up. So our cost of living here in the state, we're in the top 10 as far as gas prices go. So, and there's a story about there's a meeting talking about short-term rentals. The reason why the short-term rentals is such a big deal is because the short-term rentals, which is people basically renting out their homes, and there's laws around that kind of stuff too, that the more short-term rentals you've got, the higher the median income of homes, the higher rental prices go, and it's becoming a problem. There used to be not a problem with it because, a couple of people in your neighborhood had a short-term rental. But when you have, let's say you have a condo complex where, 30% of the condos are now short-term rentals, that becomes a problem because now we went from, I think we had an average rental rate of, let's say, $700, $800. Now it's $1,800. Yeah, it's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. And that's really on the low side. So it's average of $1,800. So you can imagine on the high side, much more expensive than that. So we've got to keep an eye on that. It's not good. It's not a good thing that's happening right now. We're going to end with this story. So we got a new player. So it's our Raiders watch because the Raiders are doing some cool stuff that's coming up. Micah Kaiser. Mike Kaiser is coming to the Raiders. He's a free agent, and he signed really quickly after visiting here in Las Vegas. Micah Kaiser came over. He's played with a few teams, but we lost a few players, really good players, like Nicholas Morrow. Excuse me. He went to the Bears. We released Corey Littleton, Nick. And it's basically a salary cap thing. So we've lost a few players, we gained a few players, and and we've talked about this in the last week or so. A lot of juggling. We've got a new coach. He's doing a lot of juggling, and so we'll see here in another couple of weeks what's going to happen. This is crazy. And also, if you are looking to be a Raiderette, they're having tryouts. I know. If I had the legs, folks, I would try out. Yeah, if I had the legs. If I had the legs, I would try out for the Raiders. Be a Raiderette. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for being a part of the show today. Once again, if you'd like to be on the show, we've got so much going on. You can contact us at advertising@livinginvegas.com. That's advertising@livinginvegas.com. Love to have you on the show. Where the podcast is, I want to thank everybody for being on the podcast over at Spotify. That's going to go out all over the place, and you can actually check out the podcast. We'll actually upload this on podcast form probably in the next half hour or so, and you can actually check that out. Definitely on YouTube. It'll be up in another half hour, and you can check that out. As always, you can always go to our website at livinginvegas.com, and you can check out all the articles and all that cool stuff we've got going on over at livinginvegas.com. This has been Sherman Ray. Thank you, folks, once again for being a part of the show today. And we will see you again tomorrow for Livin in Vegas podcast. where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll see you tomorrow.